Welcome to LFFL Primetime, the fastest 5 minutes, let's say 10 minutes in the LFFL universe. We're going to get you caught up on the week 2 action, look ahead at the week 3 action. Of course, we're going to start in the granddaddy of them all, the LFFL. That is right. Last week, week 1, we had 5 blowouts. This week in week 2, 3 of the 5 games decided by less than 10 points. So an exciting week in the original league. But before I get to those exciting games, the high-scoring game was not a close game. Phil put up 162 points on helpless Todd Meyer team, who only scored 92, filled the high score of the week, beating longtime league member Todd in this one. Phil does what you need to do to score a lot of points. 29 from Nix, 33 from Cooks, 22 from Adams, 40 from Jamar Chase. That's going to get it done. Whereas Todd had a nice string of 2-1-2 down there from the receiving and tight end room. Not quite enough points to get her done. Other games, let's go some of these close ones. Greg with the 7-point win over Matt, 127-120. Gets 35 big points from Lamar Jackson. Contrast that to Matt, who only gets 8 from Joe Burrow and then leaves with an injury. If Joe Burrow plays the whole game, you'd have to like Matt's chances to come through over here. But fantasy football and fantasy sports, and frankly, all sports, kind of do come down to luck and fortune at times. Greg, as you'll find out in the LFFL 10 video, not as fortunate over there, but does end up on the good fortune over here against Matt. Josh beats Andy by 9, 125-116. This game, Josh gets a down game from his quarterback, only 9 from Josh Allen. But look, Andy only gets 13 from Jalen Hurts. This ultimately comes down to Monday Night Football. Andy nursing a 4-point lead over Josh, who inserts Quentin Johnson in his lineup. Quentin Johnson goes off, gets that touchdown, ultimately gives Josh the win over Andy. Miles and Bill in a Super Bowl rematch. Not a close one here. Miles, the 20-point win over Bill, 131-111. Miles, of course, did win the Super Bowl last year, his first Super Bowl win. Bill loses his second straight Super Bowl, and then Bill loses this game to drop to 0-2. Bill needing to find some help early in the season. And then finally, another close game. 126 to Eric's 129 points. Eric pulls out the 3-point win over me in this one. Another one, though, where this one may not have been as close. Eric loses his quarterback in this game, only 3 points from Justin Fields as he leaves just after halftime against Buffalo. So looking at your standings, Miles, Josh, and Greg, the only 2-0 teams left on the season. Look at these points scored over here. Miles at 285, Josh at 284. The cream of the crop is rising to the top. In the LFFL Week 3 schedule, Miles, your defending champion at 2-0, taking on 1-1 Eric. Off to a strong start is Miles, leading the league in scoring. Eric did win their only meeting last season. Eric has actually won 5 of the 6 games they have played. Miles' only win came back in 2021 against Eric. Greg at 2-0, taking on Bill at 0-2. This feels like a kind of crossroads game for both of these teams. Greg, good strong start to the season at 2-0. Can he move it, keep pushing it to 3-0, or does Bill come and get that much-needed first win of the season? It's a rematch of last year's wildcard game. Bill won that wildcard game on the way to a second straight Super Bowl appearance. Greg did win both games in last year's regular season, though, and holds a 29-26 lead in the series. We got Phil and Andy in a battle of 1-1 teams over here. They're kind of middle of the pack in scoring, too. Phil is 4th, Andy is 6th. So it's kind of a coin flip game at this point. Phil won the last 2 meetings between these two teams. The 2 meetings last season between these two teams. Now he's won 7 of the last 9 and has claimed a 17-10 series lead over Andy. And then finally, 2-0 Josh taking on my 1-1 team. This is actually a rematch of Super Bowl number 28 back in 2022, which was one of the closest and more interesting Super Bowls. But it was also one of the weirder ones because this, of course, is the year that DeMar Hamlin gets hurt in the field. Josh has Josh Allen as his quarterback. I walk out of that week 17 with a lead on Josh, but if Josh Allen plays, there's no guarantees that I have a lead at the end of the game. And they only gave Josh Allen points for a little selection of the game. So Josh and I talked it through, and we're trying to figure out solutions. What we ultimately agreed to do was Josh was going to take no points from Josh Allen for that Week 17 game, and they would actually play a Week 18 lineup, and I would leave my quarterback out of there. Made for a really fun, interesting solution, and one of the better Super Bowls around. Josh ends up winning 211-205. I kind of had a lead for a lot of it, and then Josh came roaring back at the end to win his first title. It was a very cool Super Bowl and kind of an interesting year, to be honest with you. Do hold a 25-8-1 lead in the series over Josh. I'm going to go off the map, though. I'm going to pick the weirdest primetime matchup ever. I'm going to pick a game between 2 0-2 teams. Todd at 0-2, taking on Matt at 0-2. Usually we pick the really good teams, the high-scoring teams. We're going to pick 2 of the oldest league members. For one reason, this was the original Super Bowl right here. Back in 1993, Todd beats Matt. in the first ever recorded Super Bowl. Of course, in the first 2 years of the league, 91, 92, we didn't do Super Bowl. We just did bed record win. And then Matt did get the revenge back in 1997 in Super Bowl V. He does beat Todd. So they even at 1-1 each in the Super Bowls. Two teams need a W right now. Matt won both games last season, but Todd has a 39-37 series lead thanks to 10 straight wins from 2018 to 2022. Todd beat Matt 10 straight times. Fantrax must know about that because currently it's Todd is a 6-point favorite in that matchup. Let's look at the LFFL 2, shall we? We had some winners this week. Andy beat Sean. We had Phil over Greg. We had Merrill's beating Todd. I was able to win a high-scoring game with Miles, and Bill beats up on Eric. So your standings, the Merrills and Andy are the only two teams left undefeated at this point in the season. I am sitting in third, but look at my points scored at 126. That's right. I am the league high-scoring team. I've told you I like this team. I still like this team based on my high score last week. Looking at your standings this week, we might have a little shake-up in the standings because one team is moving to 3-0, one team is not because Andy and the Merrills are playing each other. And then we also have a bunch of 1-1 teams playing. I'm playing at Bill, both in 1-1. Sean and Greg both playing 1-1. We have Miles taking on Phil, looking for that first win of the season. Todd looking for first win of the season, taking on Eric. LFFL 3, we had winners. Andy beats Nate. We had Phil beats Matt Brennan. We had Todd beating Sean. Tough loss for Sean this week. Actually, a third highest score, but does play the high scoring team. I was able to take care of the 4-time defending champion Eric. We had Bill beating Matt, and we had Greg beating Miles. For your standings, 3 2-0 teams on the season. Todd, of course, the top team in the regular season last year, maintains a 2-0 spot this year. I was also a top team in the standings last year, 2-0 again this year. Andy joining us at 2-0. We have 3 teams looking for that first win. Matt Brennan, 4-time defending champion Eric and Nate, all still looking for that first dub of the season. Looking at this week's schedule, my 2-0 team takes on Bill at 1-1. We have Matt Merrill at 1-1, taking on that Todd Meyer team at 2-0. Has been really strong the last couple of years in this league. We have Miles and Sean both at 1-1 going at it. Andy at 2-0, taking on Greg at 1-1. We have Phil at 1-1, taking on Eric at 0-2, still for that first win. And then we have Matt Brennan taking on Nate, 2 0-2 teams. Someone's going to get a win this week. Your LFFL 4, congratulations to your winner on Thursday Night Football. It is none other than Nate. Nate, a 15th showdown win of the season. Greg comes in second place for the 15th time in the showdown slate. And Tony joins us. First ever DFS contest. He plays with us, comes in third place. Congratulations, Tony. Good showing to start off your career. Your Sunday main slate, Jeremy with his third main slate win of his career, 156 points, a solid scoring effort. Nate comes in second place over here as well. 10th time Nate has finished second, and Greg is able to take third. 16th time he's done that in the main slate. And of course, we had a short slate, what I consider a short slate on Monday Night Football, 2 games. Bill is able to be the winner of that, his second short slate win. Nate, his 4th short slate second. So Nate covers a first, second on the weekend, and then Phil comes in third time he's done that short slate. Obviously, with Nate's big week, Nate takes the lead on the season, a 36-point total, just ahead of Greg at 29. I've got 22. Jeremy at 21. Eric and Bill tied at 20. LFFL 5, your winners this week were Sean, Greg, Miles, Nate, and Eric. Your standings, very jumbled over here. 8 of the 10 teams at 1-1. Greg is the only person undefeated at this point, 2-0. And Andy's the only person winless at 0-2. This week, we have, I'm taking on Phil, Bill taking on Greg, Eric taking on Miles, Todd taking on Sean, and Nate taking on Andy. And then finally, LFFL 7, Matt and I, first 2 eliminations. He was out last week. I am out this week. Friends, apparently in the accounting world, we call this the FIFO strategy. The first ones in are the first ones out. We were the first 2 league members. We are the first 2 gone from the guillotine. Oh boy, not so good for us. I'm sad that we're both out. But hey, still playing football play and plenty of other leagues for us. So Matt, let's hang tough. Let's go get some wins in these other leagues. Heck with this league. Who cares about this? It stinks anyways. I'm kidding. Guys, awesome week number 2. Looking forward to week number 3. I will talk to you with updates next week.